Russ, I mainly want to talk to you about players today as we head into the new January transfer window. There's plenty to get through because there's a big squad, but let's start in numerical order. Alan Marriott, what's the situation with him with regards to his injury?
Alan's got to go and see someone again, another specialist next week. I spoke to Alan this morning when I came into to Field Mill, and we just got to wait for a report to be done on him, and then obviously we'll know what the prognosis is.
When do you expect him to be back, or is it too early to tell?
Well, you can't say until he's actually seen the specialist again and they have a look at the condition, which is not, it's not repairing the way we want it to repair. So he needs to go back in and be seen, and obviously then get another prognosis.
Let's move on to players now. Perhaps haven't been in the side since your caretaker and now permanent spell. Gary Silk, what's the latest on him?
Well, I mean, Gary Silk's fine. Gary Silk has, he's part of the squad. He's integral to the team. When we talk about players, I'm sure you're going to come on to it in a moment. When we talk about players going in and going out, there's nothing happening just yet on that side. And before I tell any press, anyway, I'd speak to the players individually before that anyway, because I feel that's right to do and it's an honourable thing to do. But no, Silk is fine. Silk is training. He's training hard. Like they all are. They're just waiting for their chance to try and get onto the bench, and then from get the bench onto into the first 11. So the competition's rife. It's what I want, and the good thing about it is we've got everybody pulling the same way. All the players have been tremendous over the last few weeks. I heap loads of praise onto them because they have been really outstanding in their training, their application, and their attitude towards things. Been very professional.
Move on to more players now. Peter Vincenti, is he fit?
Well, Peter Vincenti has had a virus. He phoned in last week, and like most people, that's in fact we've had a phone call today about Keegan Parker picking up a virus. He's seen the club doctor today. But the important thing is that when they have a virus, you keep them away from the football club. It's important because obviously not everyone's had the flu injections. Although I try to advocate that we do that. And basically you've got to keep them away from the football club until such times as they're on the mend. Now, obviously, when they come back off a virus, the thing is they tend to be very, very weak, and you need to build up, obviously, their levels of fitness again. So, again, it can have a knock-on effect to whether we include them in the squad in terms of with the games that we've got coming up.
Do you expect him to be here next month?
That's what I need to sit down and talk to Peter about. I've had a long chat this morning with the chairman. I've been up to Doncaster, and we've sat down, we spoke about various things we'd like to do. I'm not in any hurry to change this football squad. If I do, and I've always said this, if I bring anybody in, they will be better than what we've got, at least the same as what we've got. Otherwise, it's not worth bringing players into the football club. So again, I'm not going to be too committal on anything just yet until such times I've spoken to the players.
Okay, but if we could just clarify a few things on the loan front, Adam Murray. Will he be here next month? Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, that's in the hands of the chief executive now. They've had negotiations along with Adam and his agents, Gino, who I know personally, and everything seems to be going along fine. So Adam will be with us next year.
Kevin Pilkington.
Well, Kevin Pilkington's a bit difficult at the moment because obviously the Luton manager has put a new thing that we can have him again on loan, but I think they want to put some sort of emergency return on him, like within 24 hours. Now, that doesn't help my cause, and obviously I need to speak to Kevin when he turns into training tomorrow. Well, in fact, I'll speak to Kevin this afternoon, because I've only just learnt these things. So I need to sit down, and obviously we need to look at that, because I don't want to be left in a situation I was last time where we had a goalkeeper going in and nobody on the bench. I don't want that to happen. If I've got to go out and look for another goalkeeper, that's what I'll do.
Rhys Day.
Rhys Day has been in negotiations, and he still is with our chief executive. And I don't know more than that. I just know the chief executive is talking to him. I think he's talking to him this afternoon as well.
What about players out on loan? What do you propose to do with Matt Somner at Altrincham?
Well, all of those players I should be talking to in the next couple of days on a one-to-one. And then obviously deciding what we need to do. Now, I don't necessarily just want to, turn players away from the door. If we can get players out and get them back out on loan and keep them playing football, it's important. To start trimming the squad now, you've got to do it for the right reasons. We're going to have a backlash of fixtures coming up. What you don't want to do is leave yourself short of players, and I certainly wouldn't want to do that, because obviously that wouldn't be good. That wouldn't be good managerial sense to do that.
Ryan Williams has come back recently from Gainsborough Trinity on loan. Will he be part of your plans?
Well, they all are until such time. I mean, the biggest problem is that I've only seen them in training. I've not seen them in games. Now, because of the inclement weather, I mean, I would have had, I'd have organised fixtures with Chesterfield, I've organised fixtures with Notts County, so I can have a look at them. But because obviously what's happening over the last month with no football, I've seen them in five-a-side. I've seen them when we've been on the larger G3 pitches, but unfortunately I've not seen them playing in games, and I need to see that. So I always feel that unless you're going to bring somebody in to enhance the squad, don't just throw players out the squad for the sake of doing that, because obviously if you do that, you do it at your own peril. You could come unstuck. As I say, there's a lot of fixtures to go. We're going to get a backlog of fixtures because of the inclement weather, so I might have to call on people like Ryan and Matty Somner to step into the team.
If we could just get some more concise answers, because there's a lot of players to go through, and I know you're short on time. Simon Grand, what's the situation with him?
Simon Grand, Fleetwood have said they're more than welcome to extend his loan to us, and that's what we will do.
Steve Cook.
Steve Cook is he's speaking to Gus Poyet today. I'm expecting a phone call from him this afternoon, because obviously I need to know where he stands with Gus. Obviously, once he's spoken to him, then obviously I'll speak to Steve Cook, and I'll also speak to Gus Poyet if need be. But yeah, Steve Cook's he remains a target of mine that I'd like to keep at the football club.
Danny Mitchley.
Danny Mitchley obviously has been in negotiations with our chief exec, and I'm sure you'll hear something in the next 48 hours.
Mark Priest, what's happened to him? Is he still with us?
Yeah, Mark Priest is still with us. He's had spells at Lilleshall. He's been home obviously through the festive period, but then he has to go back to Lilleshall. So again, probably in about a week, 2 weeks' time, we'll know more about Mark's prognosis.
Ashley Kane.
Ashley Kane, he remains part of the squad. Again, it's a patience game. It's like being at the back of a queue. You start moving up the queue. Obviously, you're in your first 11. And then you're out the first 11 through an injury or whatever, and then obviously you've got to join the back of the queue again, and that back of the queue could be not even being on the bench. So it's in the back of the queue, onto the bench, onto the football pitch, and that's how it's got to work. Because while players are going in and wearing the shirt and producing results, then you have to go with your players.
And Niall O'Rafferty, he's returning from Frickley, isn't he?
He is, but Niall's coming back. He's had an injury problem. So again, he's one that we're going to have to send back to see the specialist to see, obviously, what his prognosis is.
And Carl Nix, he's been out of the side for a while. What's up with him?
Nothing's wrong with Kyle. All Carl's been doing is getting himself fit to get back into our team. And again, what you have to what probably the fans don't realise, and a lot of people don't realise, is that we need to be playing 11v11 football. To see how your players have progressed in terms of coming back from injury. Kyle's played 5-a-side, 7-a-side, etc. Now, I'm impressed with what I've seen from Kyle so far, but I need to see the bigger picture, because obviously we need to make sure that Kyle, when he comes back into the fold, is 100% fit. I know he's 100% committed, I have no doubts in that anyway, but we need to be right for the boy. I don't want him to come in and break down again and we lose him again for another 4 or 5 weeks. So it's got to be right for Kyle.
From the answers you've given me with regards to these players, it sounds like you want to keep pretty much all of them. Is that the case?
Well, I think what's persuaded me a bit more than I would normal is that I just know we've just hit a patch where we've had no football whatsoever. We've not played enough football at all in terms of 11v11, and we're going to get a backlog of fixtures. They're going to hit us. So before I clear anyone out, if I'm going to clear anyone out, it's an awful word to use anyway. I think what you say, you shake people's hands and say thank you for your service to this magnificent football club. What you would say to them is that, you don't feature in my future plans. But yet again, Steve-O, I'm not going to tell you that. I'm not going to tell anybody that until I've spoken to the players themselves, because it would be unprofessional of me to do so.
But I mean, a squad of 32, can you keep that amount of players happy?
It's difficult. But what you have got to do is if it's a squad of 32, you make sure that you've got your loans going out, people that you might want to keep for the future, that may have something that you might need to call on. So you've got all your resources in place. So I think, yes, it's important for me to sit down with those players individually, let them know exactly how they will feature in this side. Some players will probably be moving on, but again, I'm not going to comment on which players those are until I've spoken to those players, because it's just like I say, it would be so wrong of me to do that.
Okay, what about the other way? Players coming in. January is fast looming. Will you be shopping?
Yeah, January sales. No, I'm not necessarily going to go out there and say to the chairman, "Give me loads of money, chairman. I want to go and buy players." But I've got my eye on a few players, without a doubt, and I've made inquiries into a couple of those players. And we'll just see what happens over the next few weeks. I also believe that, just because January the 1st comes up, you don't just dive into the shops. You've got to the end of the month to dive into the shops. So sometimes, you can wait and you can negotiate, because players they'll be on offer all through that window. So I'm not in a rush to go out. No, I'm not in a rush to go out and buy some, because I think what we've produced at these last few games, we've more than enough, can hold our own.
But do you feel you need more players?
I would say there are a couple of players that I've got my eyes on that will add and enhance the performance of our football team.
And has the chairman, John Radford, following your talks today, promised you money to spend in the transfer window?
Absolutely. If the chairman said to me, if he thinks I can improve the standard of what we've got here already, then yes, he'll stand by me and let me do that.
Could any of these potential targets involve transfer fees?
Quite possibly. Because obviously it's a case of negotiating. So again, just wait out and you'll hear the news very, very shortly.
I just want to get as much juice out of you as I can.
What do you think I am? Can of pop? Yeah, of course you are. You're a media man. You want to know all the hot goss, but there is none. We're looking at certain players. I've made inroads on a couple of those players. And it may require a fee, may not require a fee. Again, it's just, you've got to negotiate, and that's what's important. So it's no use me saying there's no fee, or yes, there is a fee.